Welcome in, YouTube. This is Juicy. We're going talking about season 7, all the things you need to know, some counters, some hybrids, some previews of what we're doing this season when it comes to theory crafting and how to just excel in Cosmic Crucible. So first thing we're going to do is go over and watch Superior 6 is not going to be on defense, and then we're going to go into the defense that I'm running and some of the rooms and some of the suggestions. Joining with me today is Mobile Gamer, the game father,
Woo!
and the OG of OGs of
If you say
Cons-
so.
yeah,
You're making me feel old.
yeah. The true best, you know. But let's get into this. So we're gonna start with this counter, which is just to draw in that lizard, or sorry, to beat the Superior Six. So you're gonna use Noir as a mini Super Scroll, right? Super Scroll did this cool thing where he took 2 turns, and it caused Doom to get pushed early.
hmm Yeah, the Green Goblin retaliation is basically pinging Doom into yellow, which is gonna make. So here's the thing, Noir. When does Noir get bigger than Icarus? When is that a problem? Because I have like a 3 diamond Noir, so that may not work for me.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I think that one of the things is, uh, I actually did this with Quicksilver earlier, and my Noir is actually now bigger than my Quicksilver. Though Icarus is a good choice because he spawns with offense up. So as long as your Icarus is G18, you're gonna need a G18 Icarus for this to work anyway. Look at it, he's two
Okay.
diamonds.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so we're going to,
You're gonna do the special here, right? Or your basic? Okay. You got to get a double tap for sure, though, right?
yeah, that's fine. Special here, and then you don't necessarily need to get a double tap, but I'm going to get a double tap here. Boom. And now, nice thing is Minerva's going to come in here and she's going to clean up. Oh, she didn't clean up the lizard. Oops. So usually half the time this, it's not a huge deal, but a lot of the times that Minerva would clean house and this would be super efficient. But as I said, it's not the end of the world. The Slayer is never going to get a turn. The biggest thing is when you're doing this is make sure that you are going after that Ock. So
Okay.
what are your thoughts of that counter?
I mean, I feel like there's some things that can go wrong, and I feel like it's a high risk, high reward because basically you're that team right there is most likely is going to get killed. You can't use Cabal, right? And so you're going to have to do something with Apocalypse, but basically anything without Apocalypse is a big W right there, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point to point out. Is you can definitely just make that a sure to win by putting APOC there instead of that Icarus, right? Because APOC does a metric ton more damage than that Icarus would do. So he definitely would clear house a lot better. So
Yeah, and I don't know if, I mean, it may be obvious to you because you are the Cosmic Crucible genius, but one of the few teams that holds up against Cabal is going to be Superior Six, and that has to do with Green Goblin Classics kit, where they're not going to get vulnerable while he has charge, right? And so that's going to negate like the whole thing that that Iron Patriot's doing on spawn. So just keep that in mind that you might potentially be throwing your Cabal team away against Superior Six if the Superior Six is on defense.
yeah, and so that was the goal of that team. I think that that's one of those teams you want to practice. War practice is great, just as an FYI, because it's when you do war practice into live wars, there's always extra things like boosts and deflects and all these things. But when you go war to straight war practice into CC, a lot of the times all you have to worry about is the change in the room rules, and then the rest of that stuff doesn't matter. So you need to learn like when does my doom get pushed, when does my doom not get pushed. It's definitely a team that you need to kind of watch videos, watch how I did that, know that my doom is 6. If your doom was bigger, you would need to change its ISO lower to make that work, or if your doom is smaller, you have to be cautious of trying that in like room 4. That goblin might kill your doom earlier.
I hate Doom.
Yeah,
It feels like he just gets exploded before he can do his thing. I feel like the number of times I've seen him bleed out and not get anything done, it's kind of a weird thing. I think what you're doing there with Noir and Green Goblin is going to have a high rate of success. I think where it's going to go wrong is what you do with Icarus. You know what I mean? If you don't do that right, it may not work out good for you. But hey, use Apocalypse, right?
yeah, yeah. If you're scared, Apocalypse is going to fit in there. Super Scroll is going to work just as well in that spot over Icarus, and those two will definitely wipe the board, make your life a whole lot easier. You're going to be a lot happier. So that's the budget counter, right? That's the risk, high reward, right? Because if you
Mm-hmm.
can get that win on Superior Six with Doom,
Yep.
Eternals, and Trash, your opponent has some problems. That's kind of the
Yeah.
goal.
Because it's going to come down to efficiency based on the discussion we had on our channel is a lot of the rooms are going to get cleared. Room 3, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get into it. Room 3 is just Masters of Evil, deletes everything. New Warriors is probably going to do something amazing against everybody's going to be putting Secret Defenders in room 6, although you've got some things to counter that. And then there's still Cabal, Masters of Evil. There's a lot of offense right now is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that is part of the thing is that sadly there's not enough teams. There's not these room rules. Just a preview of it. These room rules are not strong enough to really create a defensive meta. There's not a room four that's gonna anchor these. These are okay rooms, but they're not. There's nothing that's like this is where you focus and this is where you draw everything out. And then Cabal also just because Cabal doesn't flex well on defense, that really opens up the game a
Yeah,
lot.
their only real prescriptive room is room 2, and then to a lesser extent, room 4, right? And
Mhm.
then room 6 is almost designed for secret defenders and some combination of that. Room 1, I don't know how that's going to play out. That's just going to be a resource trap, probably, with everybody changing their ISOs, but we'll have to see how it plays out, right?
Yeah. And so getting into that, we're going to talk about some of the rooms. So in here we have the strikers. This whole thing with the ability blocks and raiders, and you probably already heard this 1,000 times. We're just talking about instead of going detailed into the rooms, just talking about what are some of the options. And so right now I have full extreme, extreme with rogue. Another option listed on here is like Darkhold. Uh, Doing just extreme with Dorm and then pulling off the Rogue and the Gambit to split your X Men is still a viable option. Is there any other teams that you think can go in room one?
Uh, you can put Infinity Watch in any room you want, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I think you nailed it right there.
yeah, yeah. So we're just gonna keep on rolling. Let's go with room. So we got raid teams. So there's four made raid teams. We're gonna pretend like invaders don't exist. You got Hive Mind, you have Extreme, and you have Bifrost and Pegasus. Um, I think Extreme, the reason it doesn't fit in here at all is because Extreme actually has value outside of this room, way more than the other three teams, right? Because Extreme you can use in room one, as I just showed, and it's still going to have that defensive power. If you take any of the other ones, they're nowhere near as good as that. So you really have those three: Hive Mind, Bifrost, and Pegasus. And I saw that both of us are running Pegasus, sorry, Bifrost first week. What is your thoughts on Bifrost on defense?
Yeah, Bifrost is going to be a real trick if Sylvie gets a turn. You're dead, right? And so that's going to be the focus of doing something. And you had an excellent suggestion on how to do that. I'm still thinking that people are going to put extreme there just to see what happens. I'm going to curious to see how that plays, but I think there you have a solid strategy if by putting Bifrost there
Yeah.
with Hive Mind, and then there's also like you mentioned in my video, using APOC with Pegasus without Kestrel.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to point out. Is so one of the videos that for extreme also is it gets blown over by hive mind pretty viciously. It can be punched up on by a hive mind team because hive mind is so much faster than extreme. That's one other reason why. And so, but we're gonna go with Bifrost. Look at Mobile's video if you want to see how I explain how to beat this team with two different counters that are pretty important into the season. We're gonna go over to room three. I think this room is great until you realize that Masters of Evil will literally delete whatever is in this room before it gets a turn. because of this offense up with assists. So when Masters of Evil spawns with offense up, now they're gonna five tap everything. So there's not a whole lot of teams that you think can actually survive that. Um, does that make sense? Or like, what would you put in
Yep.
here?
No, no, no. I mean, the strategy that you're doing is kind of interesting. Is that no matter what you do, Infinity Watch is annoying, and if Masters of Evil is going to explode anything in that room, you might as well put the room that's going to take the longest to explode. If it ends up being an efficiency game, then Infinity Watch makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. And again, the cockroaches MSF. They're a good defense. They're going to be somewhere probably on most people's defense. Probably not at the end of the season. I think that Spider Society may actually slot in here as a kind of a throwaway team or a good defense over Affinity Watch. I think the age of that team is just getting a little there. Room 4 is the villains get extra energy, and one thing that people were using the last time we saw this type of a room was when Super Scroll was in this room. They would cheese the Doom, and this kind of shuts down the idea of using Doom and APOC and just letting Super Scroll push the Doom. Because the Super Scroll may, first of all, without 25% health, he may just outright kill your Doom. And also, if he pushes everybody low, your hive mind's gonna go off. That's kind of the thought process of this team. What are your thoughts of this?
Well, I mean, to me, it just like if I saw your team on defense here, it's like, well, I have to use Cabal there. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, right? Because Cabal's kit, specifically Iron Patron, drastically neuters, that entire team actually, the Carnage passive, Super Scrolls, Super Scrolls kit is just turn meter, right? That's all it is. I mean, and a lot of damage, right? And so you eliminate that turn meter part, from Iron Patriot, with the vulnerables and then the passive on Iron Patriot, you're going to chew through it. So you're just baiting basically the Cabal right there.
Yep. Goal is to have Cabal used here or room 6, and yeah, uh, this team's annoying. I don't think that we'll see how this plays out, but that's kind of the idea. Is Cabal's going here? Can't use Cabal on room 6. Room 5 is Black Knight. Now Black Knight changed the meta uh crazily in Rue in last season. Um, Probably the whole entire time, right? The moment he came out, he changed the meta for the rest of the weeks, right?
Yeah.
For you, you agree?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and the two counters to they like as individual characters. When I think of Black Knight, it's like, am I gonna use Void Knight here? Am I gonna use Apocalypse here? You're gonna have to make some decisions, right? Because Black Knight is very powerful.
yes, and also, unfortunately, because Black Knight is no longer having that cover of Room 4, he is going to have a lot more counters this season. Don't expect him to carry as well as he did last season. In certain rooms, because now there are tunes that can flip over his buffs and actually kill him pretty efficiently. And so keep that in mind that there were some teams that were not able to be used in 4 that will be used in 5. I don't think Black Knight's going to be as impactful, but he's still a great tune, right?
Yeah, very good. Definitely. Not counting Mephisto, it's the three that are the most important going to be Super Scroll, Apocalypse, and Black Knight.
Yep. And then we get to room 6. This is my I saw one of my friends put had to fight this last season, and it just isn't fun that New Warriors can't beat this version
Right.
because just to kind of break down how this team works, right? So if New Warriors goes into this, New Warrior takes 3 turns, and in those 3 turns, right? So your Gwenpool, your Firestar, and then your Deathpool has to kill Morgan 2 times. If she doesn't, then what happens is this Morgan's gonna ult. Morgan ults, flips everything to bleeds, and Robbie goes insane. Robbie takes like 2 turns and your entire team just dies. It is
Right.
brutal. And that's kind
Yeah.
of the
So
way
this is a New Warriors trap. I think everybody wants to use New Warriors. A Lizard New Warriors or just straight New Warriors. So yeah, this is going to create some problems.
Yep. And that's it. And just kind of going over. So, what was your thoughts of last season? What are your thoughts and how'd you do?
I ended up doing 122. A lot of that was based off of your suggestions and help. I thought that was a good run. For me, 122. What I'm worried about is, once you get into these crazy territory, when you get in the 50s and things like that, it's going to be Mephisto land here pretty soon. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to come across Mephisto inside of Alliance War, but I think Mephisto is going to be the have nots as extreme as Super Scroll was, and I'm guessing that um you know my opponent having Mephisto, and if they know what they're doing, it's an auto lose for me. Is
Yeah.
my best guess.
Yeah, I remember last year, this around the same time, Super Scroll did the same thing to me. I was top 30, and then I think I was almost down to the 300s, 400s. Just sometimes you just can't beat these teams. They're designed for that, right? They are the
Yeah,
grand prize, and they Mephisto's going to help you win arena. He's going to help you win Cause of Crucible. He's going to help them determine wars, and so it is what it is. Be look out, because I guarantee you before the end of the season I will fight Mephisto, and I will
right.
probably get my teeth kicked in, and it'll be
Yep.
a blast for y'all to watch, not necessarily for me to play. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it's not that it's going to be impossible. Like I don't want to say that, but it's definitely going to weight it heavily to whoever has Mephisto, and it was the same situation with Super Scroll. Arena, you either had him or you didn't. Crucible was like, wow, that's an uphill battle, knowing that they have Super Scroll, right? And then even in Alliance War, it was like, well, they've got 13 and we've got 2. It's going to be a similar situation with Mephisto going forward. Not that it's impossible to overcome that advantage, but it's just going to heavily weight towards the player that had Mephisto because he's that strong. He's that strong.
All right. Yep, and he's gonna be great. Just thinking about this season, excited for it. Excited to see you later on Sunday.
Woof.
Hopefully, we're gonna see each other face to face. This video should
Yeah.
be coming out a few hours before we go and hang out together in Dallas
Yes.
and see that eclipse. Oh, not together, but we'll be seeing each other at Brave and Busters together. So it's pumped for that. Pumped to meet you. Uh,
Yeah.
Ending that on a high note, and also just best of luck on y'all's season. Here's some of the suggestions. Be aware that, like every other season, what I put on the first week is not going to be what I end with, and just be mindful of that. That everything will change.
First week is the first week, man. Everybody is just trying to figure out what's going to work, and it doesn't even stabilize for at least until week 2 or halfway through to week 2. It seems like, right?
Oh yeah, well, not even that. I mean, and then also this is a shortened season, so we may never get. I think it'll be more stable than last season because you won't have a disruptive player like Black Knight coming into the game for everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Only people that will feel the disruption are people who are
You
fighting on
don't think
Mephisto.
Pop is going to change the game?
No, not at all.
No, yeah, we don't. This Spider Society doesn't look like it's going to impact any of this stuff at all. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe Room 2, but not outside of Room 2 for sure,
Actually,
right? Not like Black Knight, nothing like that. That's for sure.
I think you're gonna find them on hybrids. I don't think they're actually gonna be using Room 2. I think they're gonna be using hybrids to beat a Black Knight. Like Room 5, I think you could create a Tangle Web with Spire Society that could probably beat Room 5 or Room 3. I don't think they're gonna change Room two's meta. Um,
We'll
I think
see.
they're
I have no idea. I can only guess. I mean, we'll have to find out. I mean, I have no the turn meter that's created by Bifrost and Pegasus is very powerful. It's very powerful.
it's broken. But anyway, we're gonna end on that. We're excited for the season, excited to see everything that changes, excited to see y'all later. Best of luck in y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and also make sure to check out those CC counter sheets to help you win your crucibles. Got anything last thing to say?
That'll do it. Let's go. I wish it was last week.
All right.
We're a week behind. All right, let's go.
Yeah, never cancel that again, please, Copley. Later, y'all.